They say pessimists are just realists with experience. That expecting the worst is wisdom born from disappointment. That bracing for pain is simply how you survive a world that never stops breaking its promises. But what if the instinct to expect catastrophe isn't wisdom at all, but a wound that never learned to close? What if the mind that rehearses disaster isn't preparing for reality, but replaying a past it couldn't control? There are people who walk through life with their shoulders permanently tensed, scanning every horizon for the storm they believe is coming. Not because they're negative, but because, once, the storm did come, and no one told them it had passed. This is not about pessimism. It's not about being difficult, or dramatic, or ungrateful for the good in front of you. It's about the quiet, exhausting labor of a nervous system that learned long ago, hope is dangerous. Let's begin. There is a specific kind of tiredness that comes from waiting for something terrible to happen. It lives in the shoulders, in the jaw, in the stomach that tightens every time the phone rings, every time someone says, "We need to talk," every time a moment of peace lasts a little too long. You don't call it anxiety. You call it preparation. Because to you, expecting the worst isn't negativity, it's responsibility. It's the only way you know how to stay ahead of the chaos. If you imagine every possible disaster, map every exit, rehearse every loss, then maybe, just maybe, you won't be blindsided again. But here's the truth no one tells you. Bracing for impact doesn't soften the fall. It just means you never stop falling. The mind that expects catastrophe isn't living in the future. It's living in a loop. The same loop. The one where something precious was taken without warning. Where trust turned to ash. Where you learned, somewhere deep and early, that good things don't last, and the people who relax are the ones who get hurt. So you became the one who doesn't relax. The one who double-checks. Who assumes the worst. Who hears, "I love you," and thinks, "for now." Who gets good news and immediately begins calculating when it will be taken away. It's not that you want to think this way. It's that your nervous system has been running on emergency power for so long, it forgot what calm feels like. And now, anything that resembles peace feels like a trick. A setup. The quiet before the inevitable storm. So you wait. Always. For the other shoe to drop. For the disappointment to arrive. For the proof that you were right all along. And the cruelest part. Even when nothing bad happens, you still don't get to rest. Because the exhaustion isn't in the disaster. It's in the waiting. Somewhere, long ago, something happened that taught you the world is not safe. Maybe it wasn't one event. Maybe it was 1,000 small ones. A parent whose love felt conditional. A home where peace was temporary, where affection could turn to anger without warning. A childhood spent reading the room, scanning faces, trying to predict which version of the day you'd get. Or maybe it was sudden. A loss. A betrayal. A moment when everything you trusted collapsed, and no one prepared you for it. Children are not born expecting the worst. They are born expecting care. But when care is inconsistent, when it appears and vanishes like weather, the child learns a new rule: don't get comfortable. Don't trust the good. It's a setup. And so the child becomes a detective. A meteorologist of mood. They learn to read the smallest shifts in tone, the subtlest change in energy. They learn that survival means staying ahead of the hurt. That the way to avoid devastation is to see it coming. This is not pessimism. This is adaptation. The adult who expects the worst is often the child who had no choice but to expect it. Because in their world, hope was a luxury they couldn't afford. Optimism was punished. Relaxation was dangerous. And here's what no one tells that child: even as they grow, you were supposed to be protected from that. You were supposed to be held, not hypervigilant. But you weren't. So you learned to hold yourself. By never letting your guard down. By never being surprised. By making sure that if the world was going to hurt you, at least you'd see it coming. It made sense then. But now it's a prison. A reflex you can't turn off. The storm passed years ago, but your body still believes it's coming. and no one taught you how to convince it otherwise. The brain is not interested in happiness. It's interested in survival. And survival to the brain means one thing: predict danger before it arrives. This is called negativity bias. It's why bad memories stick harder than good ones. Why one criticism can erase 10 compliments. Why your mind remembers every time things went wrong, and forgets the 100 times they went right. Because the brain that remembers danger is the brain that survives it. For most people, this bias runs quietly in the background. A whisper, a nudge. But for you, it's the loudest voice in the room. It's not whispering, it's screaming. And it's screaming one message over and over. Don't trust this. It won't last. Prepare. This is hypervigilance. A state where the nervous system is always scanning, always alert, always braced. It's what happens when the brain gets stuck in threat detection mode and forgets how to turn off. In the beginning, this saved you. It helped you navigate chaos. It kept you emotionally ahead of the pain. But the brain doesn't know when the danger is over. It doesn't distinguish between then and now. It just knows, once, the world was unsafe. So it assumes the world is still unsafe. And it builds its entire operating system around that assumption. Catastrophizing isn't a personality flaw. It's a survival mechanism that outlived its usefulness. When you imagine the worst, your brain thinks it's protecting you. It believes that by rehearsing disaster, it's giving you control. That if you expect nothing, you can't be disappointed. That if you brace hard enough, the impact won't hurt as much. But here's the reality. Bracing doesn't prevent pain. It just makes you live through it twice. Once in your mind, and once in the world, if it ever actually happens. And most of the time, it doesn't happen. But you've already spent the energy, already carried the weight, already lived the loss. The brain mistakes preparation for protection. But protection would mean rest. And rest, that's the one thing your system refuses to allow. There is a specific kind of loneliness that comes with always expecting the worst. It's the loneliness of being the only one in the room who can't relax. The only one who hears good news and thinks, but what if? The only one who feels the ticking clock even in moments of joy. People don't understand it. They think you're being negative, dramatic, a killjoy. They tell you to just be positive, to stop overthinking, to live in the moment. And you want to. God, you want to. But they don't understand that for you, living in the moment feels like standing on a trapdoor. Like waiting for the floor to disappear beneath you. They don't understand that your body remembers what it's like to be blindsided, and it has vowed, with every fiber, to never let it happen again. So you do what you've always done. You prepare. You brace. You imagine every possible way things could fall apart. And in doing so, you become the person others find exhausting to be around. Not because you're cruel. Not because you don't care. But because your fear reads, to them, like rejection. Your caution reads like coldness. Your inability to celebrate fully reads like you don't appreciate them, don't trust them, don't believe in the good they're offering. And maybe you don't. Not because you don't want to, but because wanting feels like volunteering for heartbreak. So you keep people at arm's length. You stay surface level. You don't let them see how tightly you're wound, how constantly you're calculating risk, how deeply you're waiting for them to leave. And when they do leave, because distance has a way of pushing people away, you tell yourself you were right all along. See, I knew it. I knew this would happen. But you don't feel victorious. You feel alone. Because the cost of always being right about loss is that you live in a world where love can never surprise you. Where connection always has a countdown. Where joy is always conditional, always temporary, always waiting to be revoked. You became so good at protecting yourself from disappointment that you built a life where disappointment is the only thing you're allowed to expect. And that, more than anything, is the real tragedy. Here's the part no one talks about. When the disaster doesn't happen, you don't feel relief. You feel shame. Because if you spent all that time bracing, rehearsing, preparing, and nothing bad happened, then what does that mean? That you wasted all that energy. That you were wrong. That you suffered for nothing. And worse, it means you might have to stop. But stopping feels impossible. Because your brain has one final trick. It tells you, just because it didn't happen this time doesn't mean it won't happen next time. Stay ready. Stay vigilant. Don't let your guard down now. So even in moments of safety, you can't celebrate. You can't exhale. Because to exhale would be to trust. And trust, in your world, is the thing that gets you hurt. This is the betrayal of relief. The mind that has spent so long expecting catastrophe cannot tolerate peace. Peace feels like a glitch, a mistake, a dangerous lapse in judgment. And so, instead of resting, you double down. You find new things to worry about, new disasters to rehearse, new worst-case scenarios to map. Because the alternative, letting go, trusting the moment, believing that maybe, just maybe, things might actually be okay, feels more terrifying than the disaster itself. At least disaster is familiar. At least you know how to survive it. But hope. Hope is the unknown. Hope is the thing that hurt you before. Hope is the risk you've spent your whole life trying to avoid. And so you stay in the waiting room. Not because you want to, but because leaving it would mean stepping into a world where you're not in control. Where you can't predict the outcome. Where you might be happy, and happiness might be taken from you. So you choose the exhaustion. The hypervigilance, the endless loop of bracing. Because at least that way, you'll never be caught off guard. Even if it means you'll never truly be at peace. Healing, for people like you, doesn't look like suddenly becoming optimistic. It doesn't look like letting go, or choosing positivity, or waking up one day and deciding not to worry anymore. It looks like this. One morning, you realize you didn't check your phone 17 times. You had a good conversation and didn't spend the next 3 hours replaying it, searching for subtext. You received a compliment, and for 5 whole seconds, you didn't dismiss it. Healing is not dramatic. It's subtle. It's small. It's the slow, painstaking process of teaching your nervous system that it's allowed to rest. That safety doesn't always end in betrayal. That you can hold joy without it immediately turning to ash. It starts with noticing. Noticing when the catastrophic thought arrives, and instead of diving into it, simply acknowledging, there it is again. The old reflex. The familiar loop. Not judging it. Not fighting it. Just seeing it for what it is. A pattern. A scar. A part of you that once kept you safe, but no longer serves you. It continues with permission. Permission to feel good without waiting for the punishment. Permission to trust someone without planning their exit. Permission to exist in a moment without scanning for its expiration date. This is not easy. Your body will resist. It will tell you that letting go is reckless. That relaxing is naive. That hope is a betrayal of everything you've learned. But here's the truth. You don't have to stop being cautious. You don't have to become someone you're not. You just have to make space for the possibility that not every ending is tragic. That not every good thing is a setup. That sometimes, just sometimes, the storm doesn't come. And when it doesn't, you're allowed to notice. You're allowed to breathe. You're allowed to say, quietly to yourself, I was safe today. And that's okay. Healing doesn't mean you'll stop expecting the worst overnight. It means you'll start catching yourself. Pausing. Asking, is this real, or is this the reflex? And slowly, over time, the gap between the two will widen. And in that gap, you'll find the thing you've been searching for all along. Not certainty. Not control. Not the guarantee that nothing bad will ever happen. But the quiet, fragile, beautiful possibility of rest. There's something no one tells you about the mind that expects the worst. It's not broken. It's not weak. It's not evidence that you're damaged beyond repair. It's evidence that you survived. That once, when the world was uncertain and overwhelming, you found a way to protect yourself. You became your own early warning system, your own guard, your own inner fortress. And that, however exhausting it's become, was an act of profound intelligence. The problem isn't that you learned to brace. The problem is that you were never taught when to stop. So now, you carry this gift you didn't ask for. This sharp, relentless vigilance. This ability to see every crack, every risk, every potential ending before it arrives. And yes, it's heavy. Yes, it isolates you. Yes, it makes joy feel conditional and peace feel impossible. But it also means you feel deeply. That you notice things others miss. That you care so much about not being hurt again that you've built an entire architecture of protection around your heart. That's not weakness. That's evidence of a heart that still hopes, even if it doesn't know how to admit it. Because the truth is, you wouldn't brace if you didn't care. You wouldn't prepare for loss if there wasn't something worth losing. You wouldn't guard yourself so carefully if, somewhere beneath all the vigilance, there wasn't still a part of you that wants to believe in goodness. The challenge now is this: to honor the part of you that had to become this way, while also giving yourself permission to soften. To hold both. To say, yes, I learned to expect the worst. And I'm allowed to unlearn it. Slowly. Gently. At my own pace. You don't have to choose between protection and peace. You can carry both. You can be cautious and open. Guarded and soft. Because you're not a pessimist. You're not broken. You're not defective. You're someone who learned, a long time ago, that survival sometimes means expecting the worst. And now, you're learning something new, that living, truly living, sometimes means daring to expect nothing at all. And seeing what arrives. If this video made you feel seen, if something in these words landed in a place you didn't know how to name, then know this. You are not alone in this. There are so many of us walking through the world with our shoulders tensed, our minds racing, our hearts quietly braced for the next disappointment. So many of us who learned that hope is dangerous, that joy is temporary, that the only way to survive is to see the ending before it arrives. And we're tired. Aren't we? Tired of scanning. Tired of preparing. Tired of never getting to rest, even when the storm doesn't come. If you're here, reading this, feeling this, then maybe, just for a moment, let yourself soften. Not because you have to. Not because you're ready. But because you've been holding this weight for so long, and you deserve, even briefly, to set it down. You don't have to change overnight. You don't have to become someone else. You just have to know that the reflex to expect the worst doesn't define you. It's a pattern. A scar. A story your body tells because once, it had to. But it's not the only story available to you. If you'd like to stay connected to this kind of reflection, this quiet, gentle exploration of what it means to be human, you're welcome here. This channel is a space where we sit with the parts of ourselves we've been taught to fix, ignore, or outrun. Where we honor the weight we carry, without pretending it's easy to put down. If something in this video stirred something in you, feel free to leave a comment. Not because you have to, but because sometimes, naming the thing makes it lighter. And your words might be the exact thing someone else needs to hear to feel a little less alone. Take care of your heart. It's been working so hard to keep you safe. You deserve gentleness. You deserve rest. You deserve to be surprised by joy, without spending the whole time waiting for it to end. You deserve to soften.